School of Rock is, what happens is a lot of fun, but for 6 days, these kids come together with varying degrees of musical experience and learn how to play together as bands. So they're not learning the skills necessarily of playing their instruments, but what they're learning is how to communicate, how to put songs together, how to perform, and at the end of the day, learn how to bond with others while they're playing music. This is one of our programs, and we are there to make sure that it continues into perpetuity. We help administer, we help advertise, and really make sure that Mark's dream continues.
I was on the board of directors for the Crossing Arts Alliance for the last 8 or 9 years. I was the one that got him some financing and got him into charitable gambling so they could get some funds for the thing. So when they heard about my second diagnosis with the cancer metastasizing, then they wanted to do something for me. So they wanted to start maybe a music scholarship. And then John Lewis from the Bridge of Harmony said, well, why don't we start one of these schools of rock? Well, it just so happens the year before, my grandson, Wyatt, was a 14-year-old introvert, hair down the middle of his back, didn't have any friends, thought everybody hated him, come home from school and go right up to his room and play video games until he'd go to bed. He had poor grades. He was just on a downhill slide. His parents didn't know what to do. And we were down at Christmas time and they were playing Guitar Hero, and I said, Wyatt, if you spend half that time practicing on a real guitar, you might learn something. So I gave him a guitar, taught him a few chords, and sure enough, he started practicing a little bit. Well, Little Falls has a school of rock, and we called him up and convinced him that he should go there. So he went there, and the first day I picked him up from school, he had this smile on his face. And came out, he met some kids with the same things that he kind of liked. Well, now he's 16 years old, and he was at the kickoff party a year ago. I told him, you pick 3 songs and then you can get up and be the lead and our band will be there. And he picked out 3 songs: Johnny Cash's Folsom Prison Blues, Bill Haley and the Comets' Rock Around the Clock, and another one from The Lone Wolf, a blues song from the 40s or something. And he started out a little timid, but he just opened up. And since that time, he's 16 now, he goes out and plays by himself, solo act at coffee shops and everything else. He gets good grades, he's got a girlfriend, and his mother, she came up to me in the party and she said, you saved my son. And so when John Lurs suggested that we start a school of rock, I said, now there's something that these kids can do. But if you teach a kid music at a young age and he learns how to play the piano or a guitar or whatever, he can carry that with him his whole life and literally play right up until you die, just like I'm doing. To date, we've raised about $40,000 for the school. We've got 12 of the best musicians in the Brainerd Lakes area as instructors. We've got 5 student mentor instructors, Wyatt being one of those. And we started our school 2 days ago, and it's going great. The kids love it. They've sent emails already back saying, I'm having a great time, and the instructors are just as excited as the kids.
So it kind of started about a year and a half ago. When my grandpa got inspiration for this school of rock, he got that from a camp he sent me to about a year prior. That was in Little Falls. He noticed that I improved significantly in musical ability after the camp, and he wanted to do something similar. I think part of this was that he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He didn't believe that he was going to be around a whole lot longer. So, he was doing a lot of the things he just had always wanted to do. His band, the Rockin' Hill, had just put out an album. This was the next step. My grandfather, Mark Munson, always told me is, if you just sit around playing the same songs over and over again, you're not going to get any better. So always be trying to find something new to play. some new song or new scale, new riff. Just try and find something new to practice every day.
I've heard Mark say that when he plays music, the pain goes away. And he has long said that even after your body gets sore and can no longer do things like playing football or basketball, he can still play a guitar. So I think what these kids are going to see, learning from instructors who've played instruments nearly all their lives, is that this is something they can do for the rest of theirs. Me personally, this is probably the most fun I've ever had at work. This is to be surrounded by these eager, enthusiastic kids and these talented kids and instructors has been so much fun. It's been a lot of work. We've had some amazing help getting to this point, but now that we're here, now we're rocking, and it's a whole lot of fun. It's very gratifying to see these kids too, and parents come in and say, he practiced 4 hours last night after camp, and parents are seeing their kids practicing their instruments rather than being on their phone or whatever, and it's just a great thing.
I am the director of the School of Rock. That means that I put out fires and communicate with parents and communicate with the instructors and recruit students, and I'm just here kind of like the mom. Well, I love it because I'm making Mark Munson's dream come true. I love working with kids. I love rock music, and honestly, this is the funnest adventure I've ever been on. I kind of wish it was full-time.
Probably the part that I like most about the School of Rock is how they do give you instructors, but mostly they just put you in a group of people and it's like an actual band. You are given free rein to do whatever you want. You get many choices of songs, but it feels like an actual band. You get to make choices on your own. Well, song choices, pretty much you don't even need to really cover them. You can make the song however you want. You can like one of our songs we're doing, Don't Fear the Reaper. There is very little piano parts in it, but we have 2 pianists, so we have decided to change a lot of the parts of the song to be made for the piano.
It's really fun to meet other kids who like to play instruments just like you, and it's fun to actually be in a band and get to play cool songs and rock out together. I really like the song my band is playing. It's called Don't Bring Me Down. It's a really fun song to play.
I like how you get to meet other kids that have a talent, and then you form a band that just you just have fun, and it's like a way you just have fun with like a bunch of your friends, and you just get to rock out together. I definitely like Weezer. Beatles are good. It's just some of my favorites. I like Queen, Stone Age. It's a lot of fun because you don't get, it's just a way to have fun, and you just have fun with your friends, and if you do want to be a drummer, you need to work out a lot because your arms and your feet get wore out a lot. Yeah, I think I might do like a chef and then like half a part-time job, and yeah. I would definitely like to be in a band.
I love that you can just play. Like, there's no judgment or anything. You can just do what you love to do. I'm a drummer, so I just love shredding and just going at it.
I've played music my whole life and in and out of bands and things, but it's really fun now on this stage of my life, which is, I'm getting on in the years, but to come back and see kids, young kids forming a band, like remembering when we were back in our garage band days, working through how to make a song, how to make it work, and you can already hear the development. It's just incredible. It's fun. Day one, their just eyes are like deers in headlights. They're just afraid of everything, and they're so tentative, and you can't blame them. I mean, it's kind of scary, but everyone here is so good and accommodating and nice. So once they sit down and they do their auditions, they're nervous for that part too, but they don't need to be. It's just, we're just listening to you play. And it's so fun when they get there, and about the second day, you start to realize they know these chords, they're putting chords together and they're learning it. And all of a sudden their eyes just light up, but it's not like the deer in the headlight light up. It's like, aha, I get it. And they're having fun, and you can just, they're jazzed, they're pumped. It's fun. I think we get more out of it than the kids, and they get a lot out of it. Yeah, Mark did ask me, and we think about him every day here. We're thinking about him. We're hoping he's doing good. You know, it's his dream to have this done, and I sure wish he could be physically here. I know they're showing him videos and stuff, but when you can walk down a hall and actually feel the thump of a drum set coming out of a room and guitars, and you realize it's like 13-year-old kids, that's pretty cool. And that was his dream. And so he asked, I said, jumped on it.
I started playing music in groups when I was 13. So a lot of the 50s and 60s rock and roll songs. One of the songs that I have done in a lot of different groups, and I do it now in the group that I'm in now, is a song by Jerry Lee and the Pacemakers. Don't let the sun catch you crying. Sorry, that chokes me up. And so there's lots of music. And for me, music brings back memories. Girl I dated in high school, you know, Three Dog Night was playing that time. Oh, It gives you that confidence. And I saw that in my grandson, Wyatt, who now he stands up and he's real assertive, and you know, he was never like that. And yeah, the first few times, and sometimes a long time, but you know, you get the butterflies and getting up on stage, but after a while, you know, you enjoy that. That's why these musicians continue on until they're 80, because they enjoy that, you know, too. But it is a confidence builder for kids, and there's been numerous studies about music, how it works in your mind and how it can help heal and all this other stuff, you know. That's one of the reasons that I started playing in rock and roll bands. In fact, I even have one of the guitars from the Uglies hanging on my wall from Dave Prentice that played the guitar. And Dave Hoffman, who was Winston Fink back then, he was our booking agent for when I was in Bemidji with the Blackbird. But so I'd have to say the Uglies, or there was groups like the Rising Suns and the Flippers from Lawrence, Kansas. You know, I played in a band, big show band back then, so those old bands. And then of course all the rock and roll bands that we took their music to play and stuff. There's other things to, you know, that you can enjoy. Getting involved in music, learning how to play an instrument or play the piano, or just singing in a group. People say, well, I can't play anything, but you know, they can sing. If you throw the TV set out the window and just take the time that you spent in front of the TV set learning an instrument, you get a few instructions from an instructor. And you can go on YouTube and there's instructing classes that you can learn all kinds of stuff. But if you put in the time, and then you can start to enjoy it. And then if you have some friends that you can get together and play together, that's when you really enjoy the music. I play in 3 different groups now, and some just 3 guitars. We get together and just play and sing the old folk songs from the 60s and 70s, and we just enjoy ourselves just doing that. And there is so much enjoyment with music. And as I said before, it's something that you can take with you the rest of your life. I think when the people come and see the concert and see the fun that these kids have in this summer camp, my goal is to make them talk about this camp all year long, that they had so much fun. And next year the camp will have a waiting list to get in. And normally, like the St. Cloud School of Rock, they started 12 years ago. Those kids go every year until they can't go anymore, and then they come back as assistant instructors, and then they come back as instructors. And it's just seeing the instructors, how much they enjoy this thing. It's something that I hope can continue in Brainerd. And I know I've been promised that when I die that they'll make sure that it keeps going. That's my goal, is to do that. I don't need some big legacy, but to see this school continue, it would be nice.